It's a nice snowy Sunday afternoon in New York City.
Super Bowl.
Sorry?
Super Bowl Sunday. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Myrna. It's Tamika.
Oh, well, yeah, well, Super Bowl's later on today, but today, right, this afternoon, we're gonna just take some time to talk about New Year's resolutions. And it's the beginning of February, and as usual, most people start off the new year in January, all excited and determined to make changes. But as we all know, life gets in the way and we get busy. And next thing you know, it's February and we really didn't get started, or we got started, but something happened. So today we're gonna talk about New Year's resolutions and kind of give you some tips and strategies for rebooting to get your year started off right. So I wanted to get started with a poll first. Hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna launch a poll, and there's a few questions. We'll take a few minutes um, to answer the poll. Can you guys see the poll?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll give it a few seconds, and we have a few questions. We want this to be interactive. Okay. Anybody? We'll give it a few more minutes. Okay, Tamika, can you see the poll questions?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I'll give it 10 more seconds and then we can end the poll.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. All right, so I'm ending the poll. Okay. And I could share the results. Can you see the results?
Yes.
Okay. I guess a lot of people didn't vote. Should I relaunch it or we just discuss the poll?
We can discuss the poll, but I just want to ask everybody who's on the call, did you have trouble answering the poll or accessing the poll? Yes, somebody said yes, they did have a problem.
Okay, so I mean, basically, I could go through it. So basically, the poll was, did you set a New Year's resolution? Yes or no? And then the next one was, if you did set a resolution, are you on track with it? And the third one, if you are off track, why? Was it because you had overzealous goals, or was it because you were stressed out, or you're unsure how to get started? And the fourth one was, were any of your goals health related? So I think everyone is permitted to talk. Feel free to comment or answer the questions. No?
Well, I have a question.
Yes, hi, welcome.
Thank you. How would you really know if your goal was overzealous?
That's a good question. I guess if you didn't have a clear plan and you don't know where to get started, I guess it would be like maybe you think it's too much for you to do at this point in time.
Is there someone you could
Like
call or
if it's
talk
a
to?
lof-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
like if it's a lofty goal, let's say I wanted to say lose 50 pounds this year. That's a big goal, right? Now, if you're thinking to yourself, is that possible? You might second guess yourself and say, can I actually do this? That might be an overzealous goal for now.
But let me ask you, is there someone you could speak to when you're making these goals that could help you realize maybe they are overzealous or they may be too much, or you need more information to properly make the correct decision on your goals?
Well, yeah. So basically, thank you for asking. So that we're gonna actually talk about that today. So we wanted to prompt those, have those questions as prompts, so we could open up the discussion and see how we can actually help you with this. So I just wanted to introduce myself. If for those who don't know me, my name is Myrna Timal. I am a research scientist and a holistic nutritionist, and my business is Life Compass Health and Wellness. And basically, in summary, I worked in science for over 25 years, and I dealt with a lot of different ailments over the years with family members and myself. And although conventional medicine is great, I felt there needed to be more of a way to do a more holistic view and have prevention. So this is why I decided to launch my business and do health and wellness. So basically is my principles of, you know, natural healing, do no harm, harness the power of natural healing, of nature, identify causes and treat the whole person, and be a teacher and help with overall prevention. So this is who I am, and I'm going to introduce my friend and colleague, Tamika Burns, who's on the line, who's doing this workshop with me. So Tamika, welcome. She is a research scientist as well. She did her PhD in infectious disease, and she's worked in the science field for over 20 years. And she's currently studying to be a fitness trainer. So Tamika, you want to say a few words?
Yes. So thank you and good afternoon, everyone. And, thank you for joining us on this snowy Super Bowl afternoon. I just want to say that I think of exercise, like my mantra is exercise is a celebration. It should not be punishment for what you've eaten, but it should be a celebration of what your body can do and what you can achieve. Um, I'll always ask you before you start any type of fitness plan that you talk to a physician, just to make sure that you are okay for a fitness plan. Thank you.
Okay. So basically it's the introduction. We're gonna just talk about like what is a resolution, right? We hear this and we always see people make resolution at the beginning of the year. So in layman's terms, like basically what is it? You is a firm decision to make, to do or do something different, make a change. And I guess we need to discuss like why do we do it? Do we want to change? Are we unhappy with the current situation? Is there something we want to learn or we want to grow and expand? Is it that we want a new look? Or is it something that has to do with our self-image or self-esteem? These are like the basic things of why people make a resolution. And they could range from one to multiple goals. And most times, unfortunately, you get started and then something happens and you get sidetracked or you get off track, or um, life gets in the way. So we're trying to give you some background and some strategies of how to stay on track and how to identify realistic goals and how to actually make them come to light. So Tamika will talk to us about resolutions and the history of it. So it's always good to have a background and understand, like, why do you do the things you do, right? So Tamika, it's all yours.
No, thank you. So basically, New Year's celebrations began over 5,000 years ago in ancient Egypt. So the history of making resolutions started about 4,000 years ago with the ancient Babylonians. And so basically, then, uh, their new year was in March when they planted new crops, and it was associated with a 12-day religious festival called Akitu. Now, during this festival, basically everyone would pledge their loyalty to the current prince or the new crown prince. And it was thought that around this time is where resolutions kind of started, because that's when all the citizens would also, you know, pray for a, a good crop. They either swore to pay off debts to their gods and also return any borrowed things. And that was kind of where everything started. Currently, people still enter into this new year, promise of better behavior, New Year's resolution. But now but it's unsure, or we don't know what the origin is, why it became more secular and more individualized. So that's basically the history of, New Year's resolutions.
Okay, thank you. So one thing I wanted to talk to you about is, like, if you identify a resolution, right? Like we said, some things like pay off debt, get in shape, lose weight, get more sleep, go on a vacation. That could be a resolution. I know we all need a vacation in this day and age. But in order to get you there, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your mindset. Now, for anything you do in life, you need a good mindset, right? So mindset is basically how you view the world, right? And you could have what is known as a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. Now, the difference between the two is, like, in the and why this is important is because your mindset affects the way you feel, and the way you feel affects your attitude. And based on your attitude, you behave a certain way, and your behavior in turn determine your actions, right? So if you're in a negative or fixed mindset, you will think, like, either I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, or I don't like to be challenged, or everything is predetermined, or I'm just frustrated, or I'm stuck. That's like a fixed mindset. So when you're in that way of thinking, you feel discouraged. So what we need to be in is what is known as a growth mindset. So the way, like I said, the way you think affects the way you feel. And the way you feel affects your attitude, and in turn affects your behavior or your actions. So it's important to be in a growth mindset. You could, like, be optimistic. Okay, you set a goal. And the idea is it a realistic goal? And we'll talk a little bit more about goals and how to go about that. But you could say, I don't know something, I want to learn how to paint, right? That's one of my goals. You shouldn't think I can't do this. You'd be like, okay, I would like to do this, but I don't know how. How can I learn? So that is an example of a growth mindset. And then if you realize that something is a challenge, challenges are not necessarily a bad thing. They could be a good thing because they help motivate you to keep you going and keep you interested and learning new things. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna
So,
answer for everyone. Yes.
and feel free if anyone have any. Yeah, like I said, we want this to be interactive. If you have any questions or want to make any comments, feel free to do so. So I was just saying, like, resolutions, you had set a goal. So how do you set a goal? Goal setting. How do we go about that? How do we actually figure out a way to make our desires come to light? So Tamika, can you tell us a little bit about goal setting?
Sure. So let's start off here. According to Forbes magazine, 80% of New Year's resolutions fail. 80%. And basically, it fails because, as Myrna said, people's mindset. If you're not ready to change or you're ready to approach your goal, it's not going to work. Also, the other reason is because people think of too big, too lofty goals, and without any like points of accountability. So one way to set a goal is to set a SMART goal, and a SMART goal will help you to be successful in achieving your New Year's resolution. So you say, what is a SMART goal? SMART stands for specific, meaning you're dealing with one activity and one activity only. It's measurable, so you can track your goal. It is actionable and attainable, meaning it's a very clear task of what you're striving to achieve. It's realistic or relevant. And also it's timely or time bound. So let's take, for example, a goal. Now, you could come up with a goal for New Year's resolution. I want to exercise. Well, it's not very specific because what is exercise? What do you saying exercise is? What do you consider exercise? Also, it's not measurable because you're saying, okay, how do I measure success? Are you looking to exercise 1 day a week, 1 day a month, 1 day a year? So we need something that we can measure. Also, there's no action. You're saying I want to exercise, but you're not saying what that exercise is. There is no plan of action. Also, it's not realistic because it's too open-ended. You say you want to exercise. Are you picking it up for the first time? Are you just starting to exercise? You know, what should you be doing? And also, it's not time bound, because if you're saying, oh, this year I want to exercise more, you can exercise 12/31. You exercise more than you did before. So we need to have a SMART goal. So now let's change that into a SMART goal. How about this? I want to do at least 30 minutes of walking on my treadmill or around my block 3 days a week. Since I'm new to exercise, I want to start with 5 minutes of walking 3 days a week. And for every week, I'm going to add 1 more minute of exercise when I'm walking around or when I'm walking on the treadmill. And by June 15th, I want to work up to 30 minutes of walking 3 days a week. It's very specific, and you have a way of measuring your success, and it keeps you motivated because you're working toward a goal and you could see progress. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I think great.
Good, thank you. Thank you.
So you're welcome. Anyone have any questions or comments? Oh, okay, we'll keep going. Okay, so Tamika touched on SMART goals. And like, you know, the focus is health and fitness, and nutrition is my expertise, and I'll talk about that. But the idea is to give you some basic practical things. So like we just went over the SMART goals. Now, how do you approach like your nutritional goals, and it's tied in with your fitness goals. Like a lot of people say a big goal, Tamika, you correct me, but tell me the stats, but a lot of people start the new year's like, I want to lose weight, right? So I want to be more fit. Now that ties into nutrition, right? Now you have to evaluate what you want to change. So, like Tamika was saying, do you want to lose 5 pounds? Do you want to tone up your physique? Do you want to reduce your stress? Are you just tired and fatigued? Or are you not sleeping well? Like, what are, and all of these things are tied into nutrition. Nutrition is holistic nutrition is the whole body, and it encompasses not only food and what you put into your body is like all these things interact and how you take care of yourself, and how you feel physically, mentally, and emotionally. Like, for example, if you're not eating well, like if you eat a lot of processed foods and a lot of unhealthy, or I would say junk food, that's going to affect you physically because it makes you feel lethargic and heavy and sluggish. Mentally, you'll get something called brain fog. Emotionally, you won't feel satisfied. So, what you put in your body nutritionally makes a big difference. So, what I need you to identify is like people are like, okay, I want to be fit, I want to be healthy, but you have to first we have to evaluate what do you actually eat, like what are your eating patterns, like, and when do you eat? Do you eat first thing in the morning? Are you eating in front of your desk on your computer because you're stressed out from work? Or are you skipping meals because you're too tired or too busy? All of this stuff could wreak havoc on your body, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. Like if you are not eating enough, you will be mentally drained, right? If you are eating too much, you will feel sluggish and tired, or you're not getting the right food. And then the whole point of nutrition is to give your body nutrients. Now, the brain it's connected to your gut, and I did another webinar on like the brain gut connection. So basically, your brain is craving nutrients and it's connected to your gut. If you're not getting the right nutrients, you're going to have cravings. Like if you're eating chocolate chip cookies and ice cream all the time, they taste good, right? But what's the nutrient content of it? So the whole thing is about being aware of what types of food you're eating, learning to listen to your body and giving it the right things it needs. And then also, nutrition is not about elimination or restriction. It's about enjoying the food and recognizing the food that you put in your body is actually good for you, enjoying what you're eating. It's not um like most diet plans, a lot of mainstream thing is like restriction, reduce the calorie and you eat a little bit and you count numbers and you can't eat this or that. And my philosophy is no, you have to understand how your body works, give it the right nutrients, and eat the foods that will help you stay healthy and fit in all aspects. And you should enjoy the foods you eat. So those are like my basic tips on like how to take control of your health from a nutritional point of view. Now, does that make sense to anyone? Do anyone have any questions regarding that? And this all goes back into like your mindset, right? Saying like it's not a chore. It's something you're doing for yourself because you are worth, you know, the change or whatever you want to achieve. So that is my take on basic nutrition. Now, Tamika will start tell us about fitness. Now, we already went through SMART goals, so Tamika.
So let's talk about some fitness resolutions. So let's start off with, let's revisit and let's set a goal for this year. Let's try to focus on one goal and one goal only. And then also set a SMART goal when you are setting up your fitness resolutions. So something that's very small goal, And or just like I said, very specific, and then have small goals along the way so you can actually measure your success. And this is going to keep you going. And also, let's set the bar low. If you are new to fitness, please don't set a goal of being an ultra marathon by the end of the year. Let's start with something that is small and then work our way up. Sound good? Also, be realistic with your goal. Once again, don't want to be an ultra marathoner by the end of the year if you haven't exercised at all. Okay? Also, the
Well,
most
that could be a long-term goal, right?
Oh yeah, that could be definitely a long-term goal, definitely, but not 6 months down. Also, understand your why. If anything, it's the mindset, it's your why. Why are you doing this? Make sure you understand your why, because there are going to be days you're not going to want to exercise. I'm being honest with you. It ebbs and flows. Your mindset and your inspiration ebbs and flows. Understand why you're doing it to keep you going. Also, you're going to laugh at me at this. I always go and visit my doctor at the beginning of the year because I set up goals with my doctor every year after my annual physical. Yes, I know it's after the holidays, and who wants to go to the doctor after the holidays and get any type of blood work? But I just make sure that I do visit the doctor, and I start prioritizing that, like my goals at that time of what I want to accomplish for the year. Also, try small modifications. Just even just, walking around, like if you're on break if you're working at home, or even if you're back at the office, just walking around every few hours makes a difference. Or even stretching a little bit more. So things like that. And then also have a support system. Always have someone or a group of people that maybe you want to be fitter or healthier in the new year. Have that virtual support system, or that support system where you can check in with one another just to keep each other accountable. Next slide. Just waiting for it to come up. There it goes. Okay. So examples of some fitness resolutions. We talked about my example, walking for 5 minutes on the treadmill or outside to start, especially if you're new to fitness. Also, like I said, working from home, or if you are working in the office, walking around for 10 minutes every 2 hours. Even if you have to set an alarm on your watch, your phone, whatever, just get up every so often and walk around. Also, other ways to start off fitness resolutions. If you are commuting, get off a stop earlier if you have, well, not in this snow, but but getting off a stop earlier and just walking the rest of the way. Just sneaky ways to get in some exercise. Some things, stretch more. If you want to be a little bit more limber, just stretch more. Also, here's another tip. So I know we're all like, we're binge watching Netflix or other shows. So how about combining an activity that you like with with fitness? So for instance, if you're watching your favorite show, how about marching in place while you're watching your favorite show? Or doing squats in between, like if during the commercial break, I'm going to do squats until the show comes back on. Also, if you're into audible books, how about listening to your book while you're walking? But make that a goal. Like, I can't read this book, or I can't listen to this book unless I am doing some kind of physical activity. Make it a must, and not I guess I'll do this. No, make it a must, and that's a great way to sneak in some fitness. Once again, have a support system. Always have someone that a group of people or a person that you can hold accountable, that can hold you accountable. And also be consistent. Whatever you do, be consistent. There are going to be days, I'm going to be honest with you, there are days I get up and I'm like, I don't feel like working out. I mean, Myrna's heard it. I don't feel like working out today.
Yeah.
But I get up and I do it, and you keep it going. All right,
Okay.
next slide.
Okay, so I think we talked about this a little bit, but like I said, there's more than one aspect that affects your overall health, and it's your holistic health. So the first thing is your mindset, right? Now, it's key you have to have a mindset, like I said, the growth mindset, not the fixed mindset. And it's okay. We do fall off the wagon, and sometimes we're feeling discouraged and unmotivated, and it happens. But when this happens, you don't just give up. You're like, okay. And one thing I like to say, it's not, people say, oh, I had a horrible day, I had a bad day. And I like to say, no, it was not a bad day. It wasn't a horrible day. You had a bad experience in the day. Don't define the entire day by one thing that went wrong. You know, things are gonna happen in life which are unexpected. And then if you allow it to consume you, like I know personal experience, and everyone can relate to this. Like, something happened unexpectedly, and then emergency come up. God knows, I just had one the last a few days, right? I had to work for like up teen amount of hours for the last 2 days for stuff, but I didn't say I had a bad day. It was a bad incident, and something else. You think of what was a good thing for that day, and I'm a firm believer in gratitude. So we live in a society that everyone keep going and going, and then they don't pause um, to recognize and be grateful for the things that you do have. So if you just, it could be simple as like, I'm grateful that I have a warm home, or I have heat that I could be inside on this nice, cold, snowy day. So, and even if something bad happened today, it doesn't define the entire day. So mindset is the basics of everything, and your why. And then diet and nutrition. Like, what do you eat? And I don't like the term diet because diet tends to have a negative connotation. But it's like nutrition. Why are you eating? You're eating to fuel your body and to feel good. And you want to eat things that you like. And then you have to think about your lifestyle. Like, are you constantly on the go? Are you giving yourself time for self-care? That's important, right? You need a break. It can't be go, go, go all the time, because then the next thing, your stress levels go up. And once your stress levels go up, your hormones go out of whack, your cortisol levels go up. And then once your cortisol levels go up, it affects your sleep, it affects your weight, you physically, your body is in fight or flight mode. And when it's in survival mode, it affects your metabolism. So everything is inter connect. And then if your exercise is there as well. If you're not exercising enough, you're gonna feel more tired. Believe it or not, and Tamika will tell you, if you are feeling stressed, and Tamika jump in anytime, if you do like what 5, 10, 15 minutes of exercise, you will actually start feeling
Yes, I
better,
mean,
right?
totally. For me, I'll just say this year I took up some more like jogging and running, which to me is like meditation. That's where I think and that's where I clear my head. And afterward, I feel so much better.
Yeah, and I meditate every day, but my thing is, you do some yoga, you actually get the stretching in, you get your exercise, and it helps clear your mind, refocus. So that's like basically, the point is everything is interrelated. So you need to take a step back and take a holistic view of yourself, and like, what are your goals and what you want to achieve it. And if you keep we have a question in the chat. Is it better to exercise earlier in the day? Um, Ideally, I would say yes, and Tamika will explain more. Just because at the beginning of the day your metabolism is high.
I was going to also say for mental, I would say one, it really does depend on your schedule, but I find that you exercising earlier in the day is better because there's less things that get in the way. So for instance, when you think about it, You get up, you make it a priority, and you do your exercise. However, if you do it later on in the day, I feel like certain things get in the way, and then you're like, all right, well, I have to, after I do this, okay, well, this came up and now I got to take care of this. Oh, wait, now this happened. And then, oh, wait, I had to work late. I have to get this project done. And the next thing you know, it's at the end of the day and you're like, I'm tired. So I just feel like when you do it in the beginning, it really does just, you're prioritizing it and you get it done. Like I call it, before you wake up, just get it done. Does that help,
Yeah,
Laverne?
that makes sense. Yeah, and then, was that helpful?
Okay, great.
Okay, great. So, I mean, we're just gonna summarize, and we wanted this to be interactive, and we appreciate the time that everyone took to be here. And just to, key points, summary, you have to understand your why, right? Why am I doing this? And those days that you feel it's a struggle, you go back to it. It's like, why am I doing this is important. It's for my own self-care, right? So you have to have a strong why. And like we went over, you set the goal. And it doesn't have to be a lofty goal. You could be like, okay, for nutrition, I am going to stop drinking soda this week. My goal is to stop drinking soda and I will drink more water. Simple, but that makes a huge difference, right? So small goals make a big impact, right? And over time and consistency is the key. So you start with one thing, like I said, a good goal for nutrition is like drink more water. And to make a good goal for exercise is to walk 5 minutes a day, right?
Yep,
And
walk
have a
5 minutes
plan.
a day and increase it as
You know,
you feel better. Or even
mhm,
squatting during your favorite, while you're watching your
favorite.
favorite show or during commercials. Just little things.
Yeah. And then have a plan. So I am a big proponent of, having a calendar and setting things down. So like on Sundays, I will set a calendar. I even put in, because I know my schedule, and Tamika laughs at me sometimes. I put in there when I am going to eat lunch and when I'm going to eat dinner, because I get caught up, and then my calendar or my phone or something will beep at me. It's like, oh, you have to eat in like a few minutes. So that is built in. So you have checks and balances, like, okay, because you get caught up and you have to prioritize yourself. So you're like, no, okay, I know it's important for me to eat in a timely manner, fuel my body. So I will stop and go eat when I need to go eat. So you build in a plan, and then you track your progress weekly. So it's good to do a weekly reflection. It's like, okay, what did I say I was going to do this week? Did I accomplish it? And then ask yourself yes or no. And if it's no, like, what were the things that didn't work and what did work? And then Tamika will tell you, celebrate the success, right? So what worked this week? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yep, I was going to also say, going back, you have a calendar. I also have a calendar. Mine is not electronic, it is paper, but I still put on it everything, like as far as for my fitness, what I'm going to do, like what kind of cardio, what kind of like weight training I'm going to do. And then also, I have an electronic calendar that tells me also when to eat and also when it's time to take a break and walk around, but definitely celebrate those successes. That's why it is so important to have those small little goals as uh in your SMART goal, or the small little like milestones, because if not, you will feel unmotivated at times, and you need that motivation. Like I did it. I got there. If your ultimate goal is to lose 50 pounds and you lose like 5, wow, I have to celebrate this. This is great. Let me go get a new pair of jeans, or, you know, let me get a new shirt. You have to keep that motivation going. And always, always, always be consistent. Keep it going, regardless of how you feel. Just keep doing it. And also have an accountability partner like Myrna. Myrna's one of my accountability partners, where I've always contacted her and said, okay, I did this. I ate this. I did good. I didn't drink the whole bottle of wine like I wanted to, but these are the things to keep you going and keep you accountable.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that was basically the summary. We're open to take questions. Um, and then we're here to help you. So if you need to reach us, and I have another workshop coming up next month. We're talking about women's health and nutrition, because women, we tend to neglect ourselves because we're constantly taking care of everyone else and everything else, and we wear multiple hats. And then our body needs specific nutritions. We have hormones. And so next month we're going to focus on specifics of what are like some of the foods or the techniques that will help us specifically for women. And then if you want to reach me, this is my information. And like I said, just feel free to reach out. I have a promo going on. I have free consultations. I have packages that we could help you in achieving your goals. And like I said, accountability. It's good to have accountability because it helps keep you on track. And then if you don't understand or you don't know how to get started, we're here to help you. Like, how do I get started with this goal? What is your goal? So one thing I like to do is like I work through the process, and I don't set goals for my clients. They set their goal. And my focus is to help guide you and to help you achieve where you want to be. So I think that's pretty much it for it for us today. Do anyone have any questions or comments? Feedback, anything you want to discuss?
I just want to say thank you because everything you said, I think I've thought of it, but to package it the way that you have presented is very simple and to me doable. So my one question is, I work in higher education, and one of the things that I'm not good at is, for instance, I have office hours. And then my students say, well, I can't make it that time. And then I just find myself like my day is always a mess because I'm attending to everybody and not myself. So my question is, how can I kind of stick to my work schedule? And I like this idea of that you both presented of having, every 2 hours to do this or that. I think I can do that, but then how do I stick to it when, Tamika, like you said, other things come up? Because the exercising, yeah, that's realistic. You start in the morning, but then as your day goes on, then things come up. Do you say, okay, well, I said at 12 I was going to eat, but now I have a student, so I'm going to do it at 12:30? Or do I tell the student, you got to go, I have to eat? Do I eat while I'm speaking to the student? Like, how do you stick to the plan? You're mute.
You're muted, Tamika.
I did realize I was muted. Sorry about that. Thank you. Thank you, Liver. So that is a very good question. I know for me, definitely, because I'm also in a field where I'm constantly, everything's going on. I block off time on my calendar. I literally block off time on my calendar and say, this is the time when I'm doing it. So I guess this is a time where you can say to your students, just like they might be busy or something might come up, they also have to respect your time and come when they say they're going to come, I guess. And what I would do is just block off that time in your calendar. You need that 20 to 30 minutes. And then because student stops by, just, can I get this 20 to 30 minutes? Let me just get this done. I'll be right with you. I don't know. What do you think, Myrna?
Well, yeah, I agree. So you could block out the time, and I know that sometimes students don't always show up and then things happen. So I like to, when I block off my calendar, I like to have some buffer time. So it doesn't have to be within exactly at 12, let's say between 12 and 1. I know I need to eat within that hour, right? So maybe you readjust your time. Some days is like you get so busy and you're like, I planned 30 minutes for lunch, but I don't have the time. So cut it down and at least take 10 to 15 minutes
Agreed.
within that time frame, right?
Agreed.
So, and then you could, like Tamika said, if the students come, you could shorten and adjust the time, the hours or the time. Does that make sense? Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Yeah.
But I
Like
would
make it longer and then I can, give them that 10, 15 minutes and then I still have time for myself. Okay.
exactly.
Thank you so much.
And I don't know if you have like a calendar on your door, but I would definitely, or in your like where they could sign up for time, I would definitely block off some time for that,
Yeah.
for yourself. You need that time.
The problem is then I don't stick to it, right? So that's what my colleagues have been saying. Just stick to it and tell
Just
them,
stick to it.
you have 12 to 1. They want to come at 1:30. No, they have to change their schedules, not me. Yeah.
Well, exactly. And they also have to respect your time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And if you need an accountability partner, have
You're
one of your
welcome.
colleagues be your accountability partner too.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Do you have any other questions? Anyone have any other questions? No. Okay. Well, thank you
Thank
guys, and we appreciate your time, and thank you for attending. So,
Thank you.
enjoy the rest of your Sunday,
Stay warm and
and
safe.
we'll see you next month.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.